All right, thanks guys. Happy Friday to you. Got some lines for Saturday's MLB action, but before we get into that, I just want to give a quick shout out, a big thank you to my headline sponsor for today's program. That's Jimmy and the boys at ghostpicksats.com. And if you like making money on sports, there's no reason why you shouldn't check out one or more of their very affordable money-making packages. That's Jimmy and the boys at ghostpicksats.com. That's ghostpicksats.com. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at our Saturday slate of baseball games and personal leans. We actually haven't even got into any Friday games so far, as it's early Friday afternoon, but we do already have lines out for Saturday's action. Now all starts are Eastern Standard Time, so let's go ahead and lead off with Royals, White Sox. That's going to be 210 Windy City. The White Sox are $1.10, totals 9 flat, 67% are leaning Chicago. And when it comes to the starting pitching, we're looking at Duffy for KC, Lopez for Chicago. And speaking of the White Sox, they are 5-2 in their head-to-head matchups with the Royals. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Royals side of things, they're winning just 20% at the current money line price. Now, total-wise, the White Sox are 11-7 to the over when Lopez makes the start. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kansas City is also 12-7 to the over when Duffy makes the start themselves. So when it's all said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Chicago White Sox, minus 110, winning this one outright in the under, 9 flat. Next game, Rays Twins, 210 Minnesota. The Twins are $1.40, totals 8 flat, 73% are leaning Minnesota. We got Archer for Tampa Bay, Berrios for the Twins. And speaking of the Twins, they actually lost 3 of 4 head-to-head matchups with Tampa Bay. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Rays, 28-18 versus teams allowing more than 4 runs per contest. Now, scoring-wise, the Twins are 3-1 to the over in their matchups with Tampa Bay. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Rays, they are 8-6 to the over when Archer makes the start. So when it's all said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Tampa Bay Rays, catching the plus money and the over, 8 flat. Next game, D-backs Braves. That's 410 Atlanta. Little flip of the lines in this one, as the D-backs were plus $1.05, now minus $1.05. Total open 8.5, down to 8 flat. 82% are still riding with Arizona. And we're looking at Zach Greinke for Arizona, Sean Newcomb for the Braves. Now, the Braves lost 2 of their last 3 and 6 out of their last 8. Meanwhile, on the Diamondback side of things, they're 11-8 when Greinke makes the start. Now, total-wise, Atlanta's 12-6 to the over when Newcomb starts themselves. They're also 11-5 to the over in their second game without a day off. So when it's all said and done, I'm actually going to go ahead and lean Arizona, winning this one outright in the over, 8 flat. Next game, Phillies Fish, 410 Miami. Little 10-cent fade of the Phillies in the early going here. The Phillies opened $1.85 down to $1.75. Total was 8 flat, down to 7.5. All kinds of movement here. We got Aaron Nola for Philadelphia, Richards for Miami. Now, the Marlins are 15-26 versus winning ball clubs. Meanwhile, Philadelphia is a remarkable 10-1 in their games at the current money line odds. Now, the Phillies have gone 5-13 when Aaron Nola makes the start. Meanwhile, on the Braves side of things, very similar story. They're just 3-7 to the over in their second game without a day off as well. So when it's all said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean Phil's run line in the under, 7.5. Next game, Tigers, Astros. That's 410 Houston. 20-cent fade of Houston in the early going here. 270 down to 250. Total also opened 8 down to 7.5. We got Fulmer for the Tigers, Cole for the Astros. Now Houston's 15-4 when Cole starts. They're also 27-7 versus losing ball clubs. Meanwhile, when it comes to the totals, Detroit 6-12 to the over when Fulmer starts. They're also 20% to the under versus teams allowing less than 4 runs per contest. So when it's all said and done, easy decision here. I'm going to take Houston run line and the under, 7.5. Next game, Nationals, Mets. That's going to be 410 Flushing, Queens. A little flip in this one as well, as the Nats were plus $1.05, now minus $1.10. Total's 8.5. New York's catching the 1.5 at home. Now we got Austin Voth making his first start for Washington. Zach Wheeler for the Mets on the New York side of things. Now when it comes to the Mets, they are 4-3 straight up with Washington this year, and Washington won just 7 of 22 at the current money line price. Now scoring wise, the Mets are 9-8 to the over when Zach Wheeler makes the start. The Mets are also 5-2 to the over in their head-to-head matchups with Washington. So when it's all said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Mets winning this one outright in the over, 8.5. Next game, Reds, Cards, 410 St. Louis. The Cardinals are $1.40. Totals 9 flat. 85% are leaning St. Louis. We got Louis Castillo for the Reds, Jack Flaherty for the Cardinals. Now, St. Louis has been dominant when facing Cincinnati. They're 9-1 in their head-to-head matchups with the Reds. Meanwhile, Cincinnati is just 3-9 in their second game without a day off. Now, when it comes to the totals, Cincinnati's 4-8 to the over in their second game without a day off. Meanwhile, on the other side, St. Louis is just 3-10 to the over when Jack Flaherty makes the start. So when it's all said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean St. Louis winning this one outright and the under, 9 flat. Next game, we got Rangers, 7-15 Baltimore. The Orioles are $1.10. They're actually favored. Total was 10.5, down to 10 flat. We got Martin Perez for Texas, Yefry Ramirez for Baltimore, my favorite name in the game, Yefry Ramirez. But the bad news for Yefry is that Baltimore's 0-3 when he makes the start. Baltimore's also just 5-22 as the official home underdog. Now, scoring-wise, Texas has gone 5-0 to the over when Perez makes the start, depending on where you're shopping at. Texas is also just about 60% to the over when the total was 9 or higher. So all said and done, I'm actually going to go ahead and lean toward Texas winning this one outright and the over, 10 flat. Next game, Yankees, Indians. I am loving this series, and that is going to be in Cleveland. Start time there is 7:15. The Indians are $1.10. Total was 9.5, down to 9 flat. 60% are leaning Cleveland. Now we got CeCe for the Yankees, Clevinger for Cleveland. Now, like I said, Cleveland, you're going to see them start to take a little money here, but they are 0-4 in their head-to-head matchups with the Yankees. Meanwhile, the Bronx Bombers are 28-10 versus winning ball clubs, really taking care of business versus teams over 500. Now, total-wise, the Yankees are 5-12 to the over when CeCe makes the start. They are also 39% to the under in their games on the road. So when it's all said and done, really a no-brainer for me here. Although the Indians might take more money, I do like the Yankees winning this one outright for some money line cash. And the under, 9 flat. All right, next game. Angels-Dodgers, that's 7:15 Dodger Stadium, and the Dodgers are 205. Total was 7, up to 7.5. 65% are leaning Dodgers. Now we got Andrew Heaney for the Angels, Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are just 5-7 when Clayton Kershaw makes the start. They also dropped 2 of 3 head-to-head matchups with the Angels this year. Now when it comes to the scoring, Angels games are 0-3 to the over in their head-to-head matchups with the Dodgers. The Angels are also just 4-12 to the over in their Andrew Heaney starts. So when it's all said and done, I'm actually liking the Angels here catching the plus money and the under, 7.5. Next game, A's, Giants, 10:05 San Francisco, little Bay Area series there. The Giants are $1.15, totals 8.5, 57% are leaning toward the Giants. We got Brett Anderson for Oakland, Jeff Samardzija for San Fran. Now, despite being a terrific tight end in college, Samardzija has failed the Giants this year. They're just 2-7 when he makes the start. Meanwhile, on the Oakland side of things, they've actually been pretty good on the road, 29-20 in their games away from home. Now, total-wise, Oakland is just 1-4 to the over when Anderson makes the start. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, San Francisco is just 4-7 to the over in their second game without a day off. So when it's all said and done, I'm actually going to lean toward the A's winning this one outright for some money line cash in the under 8.5. All right, next game. I believe this is our next and final game for the show. Yeah, next game, Cubs Padres 10-10 San Diego. Chicago was $1.60 up to $1.70. Totals 8 flat. 55% are leaning Chicago. We got Hendricks for the Cubs, Perdomo for the Pods. And when it comes to the San Diego team, they lost 5 of 6 when Perdomo made the start. They're also winning just 25% of their ball games played at the current money line price. Now, total-wise, San Diego is just 13-28 to the over versus winning ball clubs. Meanwhile, on the Cubbies side of things, they're just 5-13 to the over when Hendricks makes the start as well. So when it's all said and done, I got to lean Cubbies run line in the under 8 flat. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I just have to remind you to check out my daily best play at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with the documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017, you're hurting yourself each and every day you're not subscribed. I also want to remind you to check out my headline sponsor. That's Jimmy and the boys at GhostPicksATS.com. Jimmy and his team of young, hungry, expert consultants at Ghost Picks are the most passionate in the business. And if you thought I was good at handicapping games, these guys are amongst the best in the industry. And as always, thank you for watching today's program. I hope you enjoyed all this great free information. And please don't forget to check out my daily best play at patreon.com/BrockPage.